G'day, Liam Fitzgerald from 3YB Coast FM social media. Coming to you tonight with some very exciting news from the One Lace at a Time campaign set by Aaron and Chris Gillen. A couple of weeks ago, you may have remembered on Facebook and on the website that I issued Member for One and Dan Tean a challenge to head to Canberra and get as many of our green laces on as many of our top politicians as possible. And I'm happy to say that Dan Tean, the Member for One, joins me right now. Dan, first of all, I sent you on your merry way probably a couple of weeks ago now with some green shoelaces, and you said you were confident to get this challenge and make a real difference with it in Canberra. Potentially, fingers crossed, we weren't sure, maybe getting Julie Bishop and Malcolm Turnbull on board, the PM and the Foreign Minister. How did you go?
Well, Liam, it was one hell of a task you gave me. Prime Minister, Foreign Minister with a request, and I said, well, let's try for that and do a bit more. So in the end, we've ended up with the Transport Minister, the Health Minister, Christopher Pyne, the Defence Industry Minister, and we caught the two big fish. We got the Foreign Minister and the Prime Minister, so pretty happy. But I can tell you the impressive thing was, once they heard about the story, they were only too keen to help and support, which was great.
Dan, I understand that you've knocked on doors, you've made appointments, you've tried to do as much as you possibly can in the time frame, and you've been quite impressed with the response.
Well, we have had to order extra shoelaces as a result of the overwhelming response, and we also got a request from one of those people that we interviewed. They wanted to personally buy some as well, and there might be a bit more to that story, but we'll hold that for another day.
All right then, without any further delay, let's hit play on the video and see how Member for One and Dan Tean's One Lace at a Time Green Shoelaces Challenge went at Parliament House in Canberra. On an ordinary day at Warrnambool train station, Member for One and Dan Tean accepted a challenge to take muscular dystrophy awareness Warrnambool to Canberra.
I'd be happy to help. So my mission is going to be to go to Canberra with, I've got two pairs of laces, and I'm going to see how many people I can get to wear them around the federal parliament.
I admit I didn't know how it would go. 3 days later, I received the first video, and that was with Federal Health Minister Greg Hunt.
You've got the green laces on.
Well, I have. Look, thanks, Dan, to Chris and Aaron. You guys are genuine inspiration. You know, I love my running. I'm fortunate to be able to run. And Dan was telling me about your courage and your commitment and your challenge, and I am really honoured to, in some small way, be able to support it.
Okay, it was certainly legitimate that he was making this happen, and soon after I was alerted to another video, none other than the Minister of Defence and Leader of the House, Christopher Pyne.
Dan, the work that Christopher and Aaron Gillen are doing is quite exceptional. This Green Laces campaign, it really is inspirational for two young men with muscular dystrophy. Muscular dystrophy affects far too many Australians, and the fact that they're both sufferers and yet they're raising awareness, raising money, encouraging sports stars to wear green laces. I'd encourage everyone who wants to be part of this campaign to take part so that we can find a cure that's needed for muscular dystrophy down the track, so that other young people don't have to suffer as Christopher and Aaron Gillen have done. So congratulations to them, and please get involved if you can.
Things were ramping up a bit, and a few days went by. Sure enough, another video arrived from Parliament House, this time featuring Minister of Infrastructure and Transport and one of Dan's running buddies, Darren Chester.
Darren, fantastic that you're here to help me promote these Green Laces initiative.
Well, it is a great initiative, Dan. I want to congratulate Chris and Aaron for helping to inspire other people by raising awareness of this terrible disease. I'll be very happy to get some green laces in my running shoes, Dan, and join you out in the track. And hopefully we can work with the community to raise awareness and find a cure for this terrible disease.
All right, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we, because I'm going to try and do the Melbourne Marathon again this year, why don't we do it in green laces together?
Green laces LB. Well done, Dan.
All right, terrific.
All these were awesome, but it was this part of the challenge I was beginning to doubt he'd be able to pull off. Our Foreign Minister, she does a bit of running, a challenge, if you like, to maybe get Julie to put the laces on.
All right, I'll take that challenge on. That's one I'm happy to do.
What about the chances of Malcolm Turnbull?
You're now raising the stakes pretty highly, but we'll give it a go.
Then, on Monday, things stepped up a notch.
And Julie, absolutely thrilled that you're prepared to take up the Green Lace Challenge. And there is your pair of green laces.
Well, Dan, I have my running shoes ready to put the green laces in, and I'm really delighted to support the Green Lace Challenge and raising awareness on muscular dystrophy in Warrnambool. And good on Chris and Aaron, your champions.
The first of our two big targets was in the bag, but it was at 6 p.m. Monday night where things came to a head. Holding the green laces and endorsing Aaron and Chris Gillen's mission, the Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, was on board.
Aaron and Chris, thank you so much for your courage, for your leadership, for your generosity. This campaign is going to lead the way to find a cure. This brings real hope. It's a great example of love. Thank you for that. And we'll get behind it and get lots of green laces.
So it was mission accomplished. Aaron and Chris Gillen's campaign to find a cure for muscular dystrophy reached the highest member of the Australian Parliament, and it doesn't get much bigger than that. Liam Fitzgerald, 3YB Coast FM. Well done, Dan. It doesn't get much better than Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull and Foreign Minister Julie Bishop to endorse the Green Shoelaces Challenge from Aaron and Chris Gillen right here in Warrnambool. Quite amazing to see that the campaign's been endorsed by two of Australia's leaders.
No, it has to be said that Chris and Aaron, you've had one hell of an impact, and from the Prime Minister down, they were just full of admiration for your courage and for your willingness to deal with what you're dealing with and think of others in making sure that you are raising awareness and raising funds to seek a cure for muscular dystrophy.
And I hope I'm not talking out of school here, Dan, but I understand that after you filmed the video with Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, that the man himself decided he wanted to make his own personal contribution to the campaign. What can you tell me about that?
So the PM's got in mind that he wants to make a contribution. I'm in discussions with him on exactly what that contribution will be and how it will play out. So stay tuned on that one.
Wow, I certainly can't wait to see what Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull's personal contribution is to MD Awareness Warrnambool. Fantastic work, Dan. It gives me great pleasure on behalf of Aaron and Chris to officially declare your mission a success and say you're well and truly off the hook, mate. You've outdone yourself. And I know Aaron and Chris and the family would be absolutely stoked with the work you've done in Canberra.
Well, look, Liam, it's actually been a great honour to do this. This is two incredibly brave young men who are thinking of others rather than themselves. I must say, I take my hat off to them, and if this has helped in some small way, well, we're as a nation all the better for it. So this is all about Chris and Aaron, their journey and what they're doing to help others, and it's very special, and I'm glad to be a very tiny part of it.
Good on you, mate. Thanks so much. That wraps up our Green Shoelaces Challenge in Canberra with Dan Tehan. Stay tuned. I've got a feeling that this is going to really start things up a little bit more around Australia. We've got local football teams involved, we've got AFL football teams involved, and certainly there's been a lot of attention from national media as well. And no doubt with some footage of the Prime Minister declaring his pledge to wear the green laces, that'll certainly get a little bit more attention as well. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk again soon.